Senior, His Majesty the Ninth Prince Luo Lin has gone to the castle. Within the 100 Tiger Building group, Choyu said softly. Umph. The skinny man's silver eyes stared into the distance, snorting coldly. Luo Lin has too much of an advantage. Firstly, he's the ninth prince, causing the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain's royal family to support him. Secondly, his grandfather's position in the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain is extremely high, and there's a group of people supporting him, causing the Black Dragon Mountain army of 500,000 to actually have 220,000 of them listen to his commands. This time there were close to 2 million troops. Black Dragon Mountain, I See God Country, these two sacred lands each had 500,000 troops. 4 large organizations each had 200,000 troops. The 16 large families each had 10,000 troops. However, the ninth Prince Luo Lin, due to his special background and identity, allowed him to control the 220,000 troops. This was a united 220,000 army. It was indeed a huge advantage. He split the 220,000 troops into 7 large groups, each with 30,000 troops. The skinny man snorted softly. With 30,000 troops plundering, who can stop them? The allied army was discussing, however, even though many of the elites were unhappy. However, in terms of position, they were merely the elites of the younger generation of the organizations. Their positions were far from a universe-level warrior. And as the ninth prince, his mother's bloodline was extremely powerful. Luo Lin's position was much higher. If this was the outside world and not the exam world. With one order from Luo Lin, killing a universe-level warrior would be easy. However, this was the world within a world. Luo Lin could only follow the rules. Ancient Castle. When Luo Lin brought his bodyguards into the castle, Luo Feng had already been guided by the castle's living AI, entering a cold ancient house. The ancient house was cold, a weak light illuminated the entire house. However, the mottled marks on the walls spoke of its ancient history. Pieces of green-black bricks formed the walls, giving off an aura. What do you want to exchange for, little punk? A low voice resounded within the house. The house was silent. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. There was no one. Of course I want to exchange for treasures. Luo Feng said. Do you have any Thunderstones? These few days many people have purposely come here, yet they don't have any. The low voice continued. I do. Luo Feng waved his hand. Immediately a human tall pile of Thunderstones appeared. Very good, the deep voice said. Footsteps could be heard from the corridor outside, following which a fat old man with a white beard walked in. His body was glowing. Luo Feng could tell with a glance that this old man was a living AI, just like Babata back in the Unimo planet ship, an energy body. It's rare for someone to exchange. The white-bearded old man smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Hello old mister, I don't know how to address you. Luo Feng was very polite. No matter what, this white-bearded old man in front of him was an artificial intelligence, and he had followed Realm Lord Kabu and lived alone for more than 10 million years. This kind of existence deserved respect. Moreover, according to Babata, this white-bearded old man who had been alone for thousands of years might have become psychopathic, so it was best not to provoke him. Little guy, you can call me Lord Wu, the white-bearded old man said with a smile, a faint halo circulating around the surface of his body. Lord Wu? Luo Feng froze. What a strange name. Lord Wu, I want to exchange for treasures, said Luo Feng. Why aren't you talking to me? Why are you in such a hurry? The white-bearded old man was a little dissatisfied. Luo Feng said, Lord Wu then? Since you're in such a hurry, then exchange. The white-bearded old man's expression changed extremely quickly, becoming very cold in an instant. What do you want to exchange for? The level 5 genetic energy weapon, Ice Soul Blade. Luo Feng said, and the level 5 spirit weapon, Suppressed Void Cauldron. Oh. The white-bearded old man was very shocked. And the last one, a life fruit. Luo Feng slightly bowed. Lord Wu, just these 3. Just these 3? The white-bearded old man's halo immediately became much more dazzling, looking extremely shocked at the black-haired youth before him. The level 5 genetic energy weapon, Ice Soul Blade, requires 130,000 Thunderstones. The level 5 spirit weapon, Suppressed Void Cauldron, requires 180,000 Thunderstones. One life fruit requires 800,000 Thunderstones. The 10,000 kilometers area around this castle is my surveillance area. You don't seem to have much of a position in this explorer army. How did you get so many Thunderstones? Luo Feng smiled. 10,000 kilometers surveillance area? Actually, Babata had already warned him about this. In terms of surveillance, even though the white-bearded old man's surveillance area was huge, like Earth's defense system, it covered the entire solar system. However, the surveillance area was huge, but the precision of the surveillance was much weaker. Lord Wu, you even have to ask about this? Luo Feng was shocked. Just asking for fun. The white-bearded old man blinked, saying casually, 3 treasures, alright, no problem. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Actually, exchanging for these 3 treasures was Babata's suggestion. According to what Babata said, the entire treasure list, the prices were a bit messy. For example, the entire Space Technique Inheritance Crystal Ball, that was a priceless treasure. In terms of price, it could be said to be a level 5 genetic energy weapon fire wheel, by 10,000 100,000 times. However, the price, the fire wheel required 100,000 Thunderstones. And the Inheritance Crystal Ball's 3 passwords added up to 30 million Thunderstones. Just 300 times. Another example was the life fruit, which was 800,000 Thunderstones. And in terms of price outside, one life fruit was equivalent to a sector lord's life, more expensive than 100 fire wheels. The price wasn't the same as the outside worlds. There were techniques when purchasing. The level 5 genetic energy weapon, Ice Soul Blade, in the outside world, was 5 to 6 times more expensive than the fire wheel. The pressure void cauldron was 10 times more expensive than the fire wheel. However, exchanging here, the price difference wasn't that huge. Within the silent ancient house, a white-bearded old man surrounded by light stood there. The three treasures add up to a total of 1.11 million Thunderstones. The white-bearded old man said, "Lord Wu, please keep it well." Luo Feng handed over a normal space ring, killing along the way. Luo Feng had quite a few space rings on his hands. Ah. The white-bearded old man waved his hand, the space ring flew into his hand, after which he revealed a smile. It's exactly 1.11 million Thunderstones. This is the level 5 genetic energy weapon, Ice Soul Blade. The white-bearded old man flipped his hand and immediately, a strange weapon with a silver-blue arc appeared. In an instant, the temperature of the entire ancient house plummeted, and the water vapor in the surrounding space began to condense. The blade of the strange weapon was incomparably sharp. The Ice Soul Blade floated before him. Luo Feng had a feeling like his soul was about to be sliced apart. He extended his hand and kept it in his space ring. This is the level 5 spirit weapon, Suppressed Void Cauldron. The white-bearded old man flipped his hand. A pure purple, almost copper-cast 30 centimeters tall cauldron floated before Luo Feng. On the cauldron there were large amounts of complicated engravings, thousands of times more complicated than the engravings on the soaring shuttle. It felt very similar to the golden engravings on the golden horned beast's body. Peculiar engravings. It caused the surrounding space to feel isolated, even though it was only 30 centimeters tall. It made Luo Feng feel as though the cauldron before him was infinitely larger, almost like a mountain with no end in sight. It made him hold his breath. Don't stare foolishly. Level 5 genetic energy weapons and spirit weapons, the engravings on them are all close to the origin laws of the universe. Every one of them is extremely powerful. However, only after becoming a sector lord and possessing the origin energy of the universe can one truly use them. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng awoke, extending his hand to keep the suppressed void cauldron in his space ring. My god. Just 2 level 5 weapons and he had no will to resist. Legend has it that the moment a sector lord battled, he could change the heavens and earth. One move could destroy all life on a planet. It was indeed true. Little punk. Those 2 are only sector lord weapons. And now I'm giving you a second life comparable to a sector lord. It's incomparably pure and mysterious life force. It's a spirit fruit formed from the universe. Life fruit. The white-bearded old man's expression was serious. A strange translucent stone box appeared in his hand. Within the translucent stone box, there was a green silhouette. Life fruit, a strange crystal from the vast universe. It's filled with unbelievable life force. Even a sector lord that can destroy a planet with a wave of his hand has endless energy within it. However, no matter how much energy is used, no matter how heavily injured. The white-bearded old man was shocked. Mysterious, this is the mystery of the universe. Luo Feng held his breath as he received the stone box. It opened. After the stone box was opened, in an instant, the surroundings lost all color. Only the green life fruit with water droplets on its surface was the most eye-catching. The green light shot in all directions. Waves of rich and intoxicating aroma emanated. The entire ancient house was filled with life force. The core source of all life was that green fruit, life fruit. Just this one fruit. If a sector lord were to use an entire galaxy to exchange, there would be countless sector lords willing to do so. Incomparably rare. Incomparably expensive. Inhale. Luo Feng took a deep breath. The aroma permeated his body. Every cell in his body was excited, almost as though he had eaten a rare treasure. The genetic material within his cells naturally began to change. His entire body's bones let out crackling sounds. His muscles too began to transform. Dummy, quickly close it. The moment it is opened, the life fruit's life energy will constantly leak out. Babata raged. Luo Feng shuddered. Only then did he wake up. He closed the stone box. Phew, that's unbelievable. Luo Feng looked at the stone box, wide-eyed. I've only taken 1 or 2 breaths and I feel like I've evolved a lot. Dummy, just 1 or 2 breaths and you've lost hundreds of breaths. Babata raged. Luo Feng happily kept the stone box. Thank you, Lord Wu. Luo Feng bowed. Haha, continue working hard, get more Thunderstones. I have treasures here for you to exchange. The white-bearded old man smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Definitely. Luo Feng smiled, turning and leaving. He will definitely return. However, that's after the cloud contact vine evolves. 2 chapters completed. Please support the monthly and recommendation votes. When Luo Feng and the white-bearded old man were exchanging, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's 9th Prince Brolin was in another room. Within the dark room, Brolin stood there, smiling and shouting, I want to exchange for treasures. Little punk, what's the rush? A low voice resounded within the room. 1 by 1, after this punk finishes, I'll exchange for you. Brolin's eyes gleamed coldly. 1 by 1? That person who entered before, he wasn't just trying to be mysterious, but was actually really exchanging for treasures? Brolin thought, after which he laughed coldly, closing his eyes and connecting to the virtual universe network. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island. This was a huge city, within it were many palaces, rising and falling, amongst them was an inconspicuous purple palace. This purple palace had 2 guards standing at the entrance. Within the palace, a fair-skinned handsome man suddenly appeared on the throne. It was the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's 9th Prince Brolin. Dressed mainly in black with golden edges, Luo Lin sat on the throne, directly requesting for communication, contacting one of his 9 bodyguards. His 9 bodyguards were all his slaves, incomparably loyal to him. Of course, one had already died when he opened the castle door. Luckily, the Thunder Castle's thunder didn't destroy the space ring, hence the laser gun in the guard's ring wasn't damaged. A silhouette appeared within the palace, dressed in a black guard uniform, a head of green flame like hair shooting towards the sky. Your Majesty. The guard respectfully knelt down on one knee. Catchaluo. Brolin stood high above, looking down at the guard, ordering, the punk who entered the Thunder Castle before me, dressed in an alloy armor and helmet. He has quite a few Thunderstones, and is exchanging for treasures with the Thunder Castle's AI. What? The guard was shocked. From time to time, there would be people entering the Thunder Castle. Most of them were just to confuse others, not many were actually exchanging for treasures. I'm very sure he's really exchanging for treasures. Brolin said coldly, hence watch him closely. Do you understand what I mean? Understood. The guard replied respectfully. Very good. Brolin nodded satisfactorily, after which his body vanished from the throne. A world within a world. The white-bearded old man walked into Luo Lin's ancient house. Seeing this, Luo Lin smiled. Kid, what do you want to exchange for? The white-bearded old man looked at Luo Lin. The first password of the legacy crystal ball. Luo Lin looked at the white-bearded old man. And a fruit of life. The white-bearded old man could not help but reveal a shocked expression. When Luo Lin was exchanging, LuoFeng had just walked out of the Thunder Castle's main door. As he walked out, in the distance, the 200,000 allied army that surrounded the Thunder Castle, at least 10,000 of them looked at LuoFeng, carefully examining him. LuoFeng was very calm. This Thunder and Lightning Castle was frequented by people. Moreover, most of the people who entered it were just to confuse them. Most likely, not many people knew that he was really exchanging for it. That's him. He entered before your highness. Keep an eye on him. Among the tens of thousands of people looking at LuoFeng, there were some with special intentions who were communicating via origin power. LuoFeng blended into the allied army and roamed around for a while, finally meeting up with Hong, Thunder God, Tainan He and Aogu. Aogu naturally activated his spirit energy barrier, preventing others from listening in on their conversation. How did it go? Hong and Thunder God looked at LuoFeng. Everything went smoothly according to the plan. LuoFeng smiled. 1 fruit of life, 2 level 5 weapons. Thunder God revealed a look of surprise and joy. That's great, 1 fruit of life can allow your cloud contact vine to undergo a huge evolution. That way, our little team in the world within a world won't be as miserable as before, meeting a bigger team and having to flee. First invest, then produce. Hong smiled. Third brother, do you remember what you said? When we get another batch of Thunderstones, we'll exchange for another fruit of life for my cloud contact vine. Definitely. LuoFeng smiled. Tisk. Thunder God rubbed his nose, glancing at Hong. Don't think too highly of yourself. The fruit of life is a good thing. If third exchanged for it, the others might exchange for it too. And there's only a total of 3 fruits of life. When we get another batch of Thunderstones, I wonder if there'll be any more fruits of life. Hong didn't argue with Thunder God. This exchange plan, after LuoFeng discussed it with Hong and Thunder God, both of them were in complete agreement. Because no one knew before that the fruit of life could actually allow the cloud contact vine to undergo a huge evolution. Even Hong said, if there was a chance his cloud contact vine would evolve once too. However, Hong's cloud contact vine was naturally much weaker than LuoFeng's. Right now, LuoFeng's cloud contact vine was a star level 4, while Hong's had just stepped into the star level 1. Hence, with the incredibly pure and powerful life energy of the fruit of life, LuoFeng's cloud contact vine had a higher chance of absorbing it. Actually, the weapons we've exchanged for this time are already enough for us to do many things when we get out. Thunder God was all smiles. Hong nodded. With enough wealth we can do many things. LuoFeng too was filled with anticipation. Ice Soul Blade, Pressure Space Cauldron. These were all level 5 genetic energy weapons and spirit weapons. These were weapons that only a Sector Lord could truly unleash. And LuoFeng, Hong and Thunder God were only star levels. To them, those 2 weapons were completely useless. If LuoFeng used a level 5 weapon, its power probably wouldn't even match up to the soaring shuttle. Only the most suitable weapon was the best. These 2 weapons LuoFeng bought them to sell for money. These were level 5 weapons. Selling them in the world within a world would be a loss, however if they were to be sold outside, then they would really be rich. These 2 level 5 weapons represented an incomparably huge amount of wealth. I have to think, what should I do with so much wealth? Thunder God muttered. Firstly, uproot the Luo Lin family. Hong said seriously, as long as the Luo Lin family isn't finished, there will always be trouble. The others are easy to deal with, but Luo Lin himself is hard to deal with. LuoFeng shook his head. To buy a universe level slave, one can at most buy a universe level 9. Because that is the highest level of a slave, and that Luo Lin is someone who has obtained the Battle Axe Fighter title. A normal universe level 9 isn't his match at all. No rush, money makes things easier. Thunder God laughed. Everyone rest first. Luo Feng said softly, we'll wait till it gets dark before leaving the allied army. For the cloud contact vine to evolve, it had to be at its largest size to be able to absorb as much life energy as possible, and with its huge size and the commotion of its evolution, there was no way it could proceed in the core region. We'll leave when it gets dark. Luo Feng and his team were very normal within the vast allied army. However, there were people secretly watching them. The allied army had about 200,000 people. With the habits of the star-level explorers, they couldn't possibly squeeze like the soldiers on Earth, because the moment a star-level speed exploded, they could move a few kilometers in a blink of an eye. And this was because they were in the world within a world. Hence normally the distance between each team was rather large, like Luo Feng and his team gathered together, the others were just casually huddled together. And some of the bigger teams were even separated by 1 to 2 kilometers. If they were too close, it wouldn't be easy to manage. This bit of distance. To the star-level explorers, they could see them with a glance, and with a flash they could reach them. Hence the entire allied army's area of effect was about 60 to 70 kilometers. And the powerful 9th Prince Luo Lin was at the center of the Black Dragon Mountain army, over 30 kilometers away from Luo Feng and his team, making it impossible for Babata surveillance to reach Luo Lin. And Luo Lin's surroundings were isolated, his equipment was obtained from the Black Dragon Mountain sacred land. Compared to Babata, it wasn't too far off. Night the wind howled. Within the tent, Luo Lin closed his eyes and sat crossed-legged. Your Majesty, Cachalo said respectfully. You haven't lost sight of that 5-man team, right? Luo Lin's voice was calm. No. Cachalo said respectfully, the entire allied army, Your Majesty, controls about 20,000 people. With the spies we've planted everywhere, the entire allied army is under our surveillance, and the entire allied army is only 10 kilometers away, that 5-man team has no way of escaping our surveillance. Luo Lin replied, suddenly opening his eyes, his gaze was like a sharp knife staring at Cachalo. Cachalo bowed. According to the Alliance Conference, killing is prohibited within the allied army. Luo Lin said coldly, it's not my place to break the rules. Keep a close eye on them. Once the 5 of them leave the allied army's range, immediately send a small team to kill the 5 of them and bring back their spatial storage items, understand? Yes, Your Majesty. Cachalo said respectfully, I'll arrange it immediately. Go. Luo said indifferently. Cachalo respectfully left the tent. At this time a man walked in, kneeling on one knee and saying respectfully, Your Majesty, the 6th team has killed 6 teams today, a total of 5,000 explorers. We've acquired a total of 2.59 million Thunderstones. Finishing, he respectfully handed over a space ring. The 6th team has done well. Luo Lin revealed a rare smile. Tell the other teams, let them work hard and seize the time to acquire more Thunderstones. Yes. The man retreated. Within the tent, Luo Lin held the space ring, weighing it, revealing a confident smile. It's almost 10 million Thunderstones. I should be able to exchange for the second password. However, the Thunderstones have pretty much all been dug out, the next step is to kill each other for the Thunderstones. To the high and mighty 9th Prince Luo Lin, even if these 2 million people all died he wouldn't care. He was born in the royal family. His mother's bloodline was incomparably strong, he had seen too much of the strong eating the weak in the universe, with one order, over 10 planet citizens became slaves. This kind of thing made him feel that killing those teams to acquire the Thunderstones was a natural thing. As for arranging for people to kill Luo Feng, Luo Lin didn't care at all. Those 5-man teams in Luo Lin's eyes with one order, he would just send people to step on the ants. Deep into the night the winds howled. World within a world's core region, the allied army. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God exchanged glances, revealing smiles. Everyone depart. Luo Feng said softly. The 5-man team swiftly got up, seemingly casually heading towards the outermost area of the allied army. It was very difficult to enter, one had to go through identity verification. Only those from the large powers were forbidden from entering, leaving was much easier. After all, the large organizations and powers frequently sent people over to exchange Thunderstones. Entering and exiting there were indeed many people. Captain, the 5 of them are about to leave. Hurry and follow. Quickly. Everyone hurry. A small team under the 9th Prince's command, which had been arranged beforehand, also moved quickly. One had to know that the 9th Prince controlled over 220,000 people, those 7 large teams, each had 30,000 people. And the so-called squad was also a squad of 1,000 people. Just like the patrols and sentries, they were made up of 1,000 people. In the middle of the night, LuoFeng's team broke through the skies and flew away from the allied army base. Behind LuoFeng's team, a 1,000-man team flew into the sky, following closely behind them. Everyone don't be in a rush to make a move. This place is close to the allied army base, the moment they reach the base we won't be able to make a move. Follow them first, we'll make a move after flying a certain distance. The captain of the 1,000-man team sent a low voice transmission to his subordinates. Ahead in mid-air, LuoFeng's team. Haha, this feels good, this feels good. In mid-air, Thunder God communicated and laughed proudly, just thinking about the life fruit and the 2 Sector Lord weapons, I can't help but feel excited. Before coming here, I was also worried that there would be trouble with the exchange. Hong smiled, from the looks of it now, everything is going smoothly. Big brother, second brother, once the cloud contact vine evolves, we'll be even happier. Luo Feng smiled, within he was filled with anticipation. When they went to dig for Thunderstones before, it was completely because of Babata's early scouting that they were able to dig up so many Thunderstones. And when the 2 million explorer army occupied the various areas and dug up all the Thunderstones, they were about to enter the darkest and cruelest killing season. Luo Feng was incomparably sure of this. Some of the sector lord's subordinates exchanged for treasures, some didn't. The realm master, who didn't manage to exchange for the treasure, naturally ordered his subordinates to kill and snatch it. In the eyes of those sector lords, even if they sacrificed 10,000 adventurers, it didn't count for much. What's going on? There's a team following us from behind. Luo Feng frowned and communicated. There really is. Thunder God frowned. Are you following us or are you going in the same direction as us for the Thunderstones? Feng asked. Let's speed up and turn. Luo Feng communicated. Yes, master. Tainan He and Ao Gu followed Luo Feng's orders. Immediately, the 5-man team drew an arc in the air and quickly accelerated, turning into 5 streams of light as they flew to the left. In the rear of the 1,000-man team. Captain, they want to escape. We are now hundreds of kilometers away from the Allied forces' encampment. All members listen up. Catch up to the 5-man squad in front as fast as possible and kill them, the captain ordered. Yes. Understood. In the dark night, the star level 9 warriors dressed in black alloy armors all obeyed the order, after which they all exploded with shocking speed. Becoming beams of light, they were extremely conspicuous in the dark night, almost like thousands of shooting stars with different speeds, madly chasing after the 5 shooting stars ahead. The beams of light behind were closing in with shocking speed. Those were all star level 9 spirit readers riding on spirit weapons, much faster than Luo Feng's team. In Luo Feng's team, probably only the star level 9 Ao Gu could match up to them, however Ao Gu still needed to bring Hong and Thunder God. Not good. They've caught up. Thunder God's expression changed. Master, quickly escape. Ao Gu's old face was filled with anxiety. Luo Feng turned to glance. The beams of light behind were closing in with shocking speed. In an instant, the distance between the two was less than 1 kilometer. What do we do? Thunder God and Hong both revealed anxious expressions. Tainan He and Ao Gu, the 2 star level 9 slaves, were anxious too. There's 1,000 star level 9 warriors behind us. Luo Feng lowered his head to look at the screen on his arm, his heart chilled even more. The 1,000 lights were closing in on his 5 with shocking speed. It seemed like they were about to be devoured. Master. Ao Gu and Tainan He looked anxiously at Luo Feng. Thunder God and Hong were also panicking. Luo Feng's heart was in a mess. Ever since they entered the world of thunder, the world within a world, even though their team had met with danger time and time again, they had never met with such a desperate situation. A whole 1,000 star level 9 warriors, if they all attacked with their spirit weapons, Luo Feng's team would be finished. Unless, to use the Golden Horn Beast? However, this place wasn't too far from the Allied army. The moment the Golden Horn Beast appeared, it would definitely be exposed. The moment the existence of the Golden Horn Beast was exposed, undying beings would probably descend upon SwallowedStar and steal Luo Feng's Golden Horn Beast cub, turning him into a slave or something. Beast taming, slave soul imprints, such methods in the vast universe, not even the master of Yunimo planet knew. When that time comes, Luo Feng was destined to become someone else's slave. Kill? The captain ordered. Yes. The hundreds of silhouettes behind replied in unison. Shio. Covering the skies and covering the earth, densely packed, large amounts of spirit weapons pierced through the air, like a rain of arrows shooting towards Luo Feng's team. At this time Hong, Thunder God, Tainan He and Ao Gu were all filled with despair. Go. Luo Feng stared hard at the large amount of arrows in front of him. Rumble. Out of nowhere, a huge object appeared in front of Luo Feng's team. Only a series of collisions could be heard. The huge object didn't move at all. This was a disc-shaped universe ship with a diameter of about 100 m. It was completely black. It was a C9 grade. Even a universe level 5 or 6 would have a hard time destroying this ship. In the universe there was no telling when a ship would be used. Even though there was one docked at SwallowedStar's docking bay, to Luo Feng, who had his teacher's first account, buying a few universe ships was very easy. Ship. He actually brought a ship. He definitely has a space storage item that's over 100 m long and wide. Quickly kill them. The hundreds of star level 9 spirit readers, after their first wave of spirit weapons failed, immediately moved their thoughts. The spirit weapons immediately turned and flew past the ship like lightning, heading towards Luo Feng's team. Master, quickly. Quickly flee. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God swiftly rushed towards the ship's cabin door. Luckily when Luo Feng summoned the ship, the cabin door was facing them. However, its flying speed was far slower than the spirit weapons. Luckily Luo Feng's team was closer to the cabin door. Quickly. Quickly. Hong and Thunder God's eyes were bloodshot. Charge in. Luo Feng's eyes were bloodshot too. Ao Gu and Tainan He brought up the rear. The hundreds of spirit weapons flew in an arc, like a concentrated rain of arrows shooting over. Blocking the front was the star level 9 fighter, Tainan He. Behind him was the star level 9 spirit reader, Ao Gu. Puchi. Like a rain of arrows, the spirit weapons pierced through Tainan He, turning him into a sieve. Against hundreds of spirit weapons of the same level, even the battle axe fighter, star level 9, would die without a doubt. Rumble. The outer cabin door and the inner door closed down. They were sealed off from the outside world. So, the universe ship ferociously accelerated, leaving the group of star level 9 far behind, swiftly disappearing without a trace. 1,000 silhouettes floated in the air, looking at the universe ship disappearing into the distance, feeling helpless. 1,000 people killing 5 people and we still let them escape? The bearded captain raged. How are we going to explain this to His Majesty when we return? Captain, don't blame us who knew they had a universe ship. Right, a universe ship has a diameter of at least 100 m. The 5 of them actually had a space ring with such a large space, it's unbelievable. The captain nodded. Such a large space ring, it's indeed unbelievable. The universe ship swiftly left the core region. Its speed was 100 to 1,000 times faster than a human's flying speed. Within the ship. Quick Aogu, hurry and absorb the life energy within the Muya crystal. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God anxiously surrounded Aogu. Aogu's alloy armor had long since fallen off. His body from his chest down had been turned to mush, only the area above his chest was intact. Just now, a few hundred spirit weapons had shot over. Tainan He, who was at the very front, had instantly exploded into mush. He couldn't be more dead. And Aogu was standing behind Tainan He, relying on the hybrid copper essence shard to barely protect his head. As for the area below his chest, the spirit weapons had smashed into his armor, the strong impact had shattered his body. Waves of life energy emanated from Aogu's body. Aogu was slowly recovering. Bastard. Luo Feng saw the situation, waves of rage filled his chest. Babata, whose people are those? Close to 200,000 people from the allied army, everyone's appearance and information has been recorded, these 1,000 people are under the 9th Prince Luo Lin. Babata said. Back when Luo Feng entered the allied army when he was roaming around, Babata had naturally recorded down all the basic information of the people there. Such as aura, appearance, strength etc. Luo Lin? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows, he was enraged within. Why is he chasing after me? I have no enmity with him. It's probably because of the treasures. Babata said. How does he know I'm exchanging for treasures? People often enter the Thunder Castle. Luo Feng's emotions were extremely unbearable, especially these 2 bodyguards. Tainan He's death, Aogu was almost finished. Humans weren't plants, they couldn't be emotionless. Even though they were just bought slaves, Luo Feng's ears were still ringing with cries of, Master, quickly flee. In times of danger, Tainan He and Aogu had used their lives to block. Luo Lin, Luo Lin. Luo Feng's heart was burning with rage, it was unbearable. Very painful. Luo Feng, don't be in pain for now. Even though you didn't use the golden horned beast, but you used a universe ship, it's still troublesome. Babata said, a huge storage item that's over 100 m long and wide, it's incomparably precious. Back when I gave it to you I told you not to reveal it. Because this level of storage item, even domain lords don't have many. And after this battle that Luo Lin will definitely value you. If he values you you'll be in deep trouble. Brolin. Luo Feng clenched his fists tightly, his knuckles pale, letting out cracking sounds, his eyes filled with cold killing intent, waves of rage attacking his rationality. Third brother, are you alright? Hong beside was shocked and asked. He took a deep breath, suppressing the rage within. I'm fine. Luo Feng shook his head. The others didn't know, but Luo Feng himself was very clear. After becoming a golden horned beast, he was influenced by the golden horned beast's nature. Back then in the killing fields, madly slaughtering and venting, he felt much better, but because of that, it caused the killing intent within his bones to grow even stronger. Just like a drug addict, he couldn't help but take the drug, it was great. However, the addiction was even stronger. One theory, Luo Feng was currently addicted to killing. And the golden horned beast was one of the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beasts. It had a strong offensive ability, that kind of cold and tyrannical killing intent came from its bones and soul. There had never been a golden horned beast that was kind. Third brother? Thunder God walked over too. I'm fine. Luo Feng squatted down, looking at the heavily injured Aogu beside. Aogu's messy dark red hair, and his extremely pale face due to his injuries, made Luo Feng bite his lips. Luo Feng looked up at his 2 brothers beside him. Hong and Thunder God were old enough to be Luo Feng's grandfathers. Of course they were concerned about the youngest, the most talented third brother. Big brother, second brother, don't worry, I won't be hot-headed. Luo Feng said. Phew, that's good. Thunder God nodded. We can't forget this grudge, we have to stay calm. Just like when your big brother and I experienced the Grand Nirvana period, back then, we were attacked by monsters, countless cities were destroyed, many humans died. However, no matter how much hatred or rage, we have to endure it. Compared to that, this little grudge really doesn't count for much. When the time comes, we'll just come back and kill. Thunder God was very casual. Hong nodded too. In terms of experience, Hong and Thunder God were indeed much higher than Luo Feng. I understand. Luo Feng nodded. What's more, the one who sent those people was the 9th Prince Brolin. Compared to Brolin, we have no way to resist at all. Brolin. Hong and Thunder God were shocked. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. When I was roaming around the allied army before, I used my scanning device to record every single person's appearance and aura. That group of people are Luo Lin's men. This is troublesome. Thunder God shook his head. This revenge will be very difficult. Hong shook his head as well. We'll have to endure for a long time. Luo Feng was clear too. With Luo Lin's status in the vast Black Dragon Mountain starfield, he was definitely one of the top figures. We can't just forget about Nanhee's death. Thunder God sneered, I don't believe that the other powers will just watch Luo Lin's power grow. After all, Brolin only controlled about 220,000 of the 2 million troops. When they start fighting, we'll ambush them at the crucial moment. Hong couldn't help but smile. That'll have to wait for the cloud contact vine to evolve. LuoFeng said. The universe ship continuously left the core region of the world within a world, swiftly flying into the distance. Along the way, they avoided the teams of explorers. After all the news of a universe ship appearing in a world within a world, it was best to slow it down. At the edge of the world within a world, within the continuous vast mountain range, a universe ship appeared in the air above, before vanishing into thin air. Within a cave in the depths of the pitch-black mountain range. Big brother, second brother helped take good care of Aogu. LuoFeng said. Hong nodded. Relax. Thunder God smiled. Master, I'm fine. Aogu, who had recovered quite a bit, shouted. LuoFeng glanced at him, smiling, and swiftly flew out of the cave, immediately arriving a few kilometers away. This mountain range's vegetation had been growing for tens of millions of years. It was incredibly luxuriant. Dressed in his alloy armor, LuoFeng stood on the dirt ground, his eyes like blades sweeping across his surroundings. Cloud contact vine. LuoFeng transmitted his thoughts. How? The cloud contact vine transmitted a joyful thought, after which LuoFeng extended both his hands. Immediately the vines madly extended in all directions. With LuoFeng as the center, the vines that were at least 1 m thick, their lengths unending, were like super pythons that covered the skies and earth as they spread out. At the same time, these thick vines with no end in sight, extended thin vines with many leaves, covering the skies and earth. Large amounts of vines and roots pierced straight into the soil, like piercing through tofu, swiftly extending underground. Every vine was at least 30,000 m long, that was 30 kilometers. There were a total of 36 vines that were 30 kilometers long. There were many thin vines and leaves on the vines as well as lush roots. For a moment, the boundless mountain range, or at least the surrounding land, was completely rooted by the long vines. At the center of the area covered by the cloud contact vine was LuoFeng, dressed in his alloy armor. Right now is the most crucial moment. LuoFeng took a deep breath. Before him was a huge vine leaf swaying. With a flip of his hand, that almost transparent stone box appeared. LuoFeng stared at the faint glow within the transparent stone box, taking a deep breath and opening it. After opening the stone box, with a shake of his wrist, the fruit of life, that was emanating an intoxicating aroma, was tossed into the air, flying towards the huge vine leaf. Immediately the vine leaf fiercely extended upwards. The huge vine leaf was like a huge mouth, immediately swallowing the life fruit in one gulp. Chi-chi. The huge vine leaf swiftly shrunk back into the ground. It really makes one's heart ache. Babata's voice resounded within LuoFeng's mind. One life fruit, even a sector lord would value it greatly. Using it to exchange for a universe-level slave, he would be able to exchange for a bunch of universe-level slaves. And now it's given to the cloud contact vine to eat. It really makes one's heart ache. 10 birds in the forest are not worth as much as 1 bird in the hand. Babata, this is what you told me. I know I should do this, but it still hurts. It's such a waste of a treasure. Babata exclaimed. LuoFeng's thoughts, however, were all on the cloud contact vine. Babata, how long does the cloud contact vine take? Can't you see for yourself? Babata said unconcernedly. Suddenly, LuoFeng saw his armguard screen show the underground. The thick vine was glowing with a green light that flowed like lightning. The vine itself was like a heart, expanding and contracting at times. However, every expansion was greater than the contraction, causing the vine's volume to continuously increase. World within a world, core region. Allied Army, Black Dragon Mountain Sacred Land Army Corps, large tent. Peng. The teacup was like a bolt of lightning, fiercely smashing into the ground, immediately exploding, the shards flying in all directions, smashing into the tent. Bastards, 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 a bunch of bastards. Brolin stood in the large tent, letting out an angry roar. I told them to speed up. All of them were incomparably arrogant. And now, the inheritance crystal ball has 3 passcodes and I've gotten 2. Just 1 more. Without that one, there's no way to get the inheritance crystal ball. Rice buckets, a bunch of rice buckets. Trash. Luo Lin cursed madly. He no longer had the calm and collected attitude he had before. One couldn't blame him for being angry. He was in the Black Dragon Mountain Sacred Land, in front of his grandfather and a few other elders, guaranteeing that he would definitely get the inheritance crystal ball and give it to his grandfather. The 9th Prince Brolin was very clear. His position amongst the princes was special, because his mother's bloodline was strong enough. His grandfather had ordered, he naturally had to work hard to get the inheritance crystal ball and give it to his grandfather. However, who would have thought that when he went to exchange for the second passcode, the living AI, the white-bearded old man, would exclaim, "Little punk, your luck is really good. Of the 3 passcodes, only the last one is left. If you were any later, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to exchange for the inheritance crystal ball's bank account password." Luck my ass. Good my ass. Brolin's expression was savage. Indeed. Only with all 3 passcodes could one retrieve the inheritance crystal ball from the bank. Without the other password, he had 2 passwords, but it was useless. Hoo-hoo. Brolin's breathing was rough. his gaze sweeping past the two bodyguards in front of him. The two bodyguards knelt on one knee, not daring to make a sound. Your Majesty. A silhouette ran in from outside. It was one of Brolin's personal bodyguards, K2 Luo. Huh? Brolin stared coldly. The bodyguard K2 Luo was shocked, kneeling down and saying respectfully, Your Majesty, we just sent a 1,000-man team to chase those 5, however, we didn't expect them to actually bring a universe ship? What universe ship? Brolin creased his eyebrows and shouted. Yes, universe ship. K2 Luo said, the enemies rode the universe ship and escaped. The other two bodyguards kneeling beside glanced at each other, extremely shocked. There was actually someone who brought a universe ship into the world within a world. That was unbelievable. To create a space storage item, one needs to cut out the universe space and seal it within the item. Brolin creased his eyebrows thinking, the bigger the space, the harder it is to cut and seal it. A high-quality storage item that can store a universe ship. It said that only the powerful Undyings can create it. Every one of them is extremely expensive. Brolin was suspicious. These 5 actually brought a ship in. Brolin was very suspicious. Because he was the Empire's 9th prince, in the end it was his grandfather who doted on him and gave him a space ring, barely enough to store a spaceship. Back then his grandfather even explained in detail how precious such a high-quality storage item was. Maybe they got lucky and picked it up from some powerful warrior's ruins. Brolin didn't think any further. Pass down the order, send the information of those 5 to the 7 teams, if they are discovered, kill them. Brolin ordered, at the same time his eyes flashed with sharpness. Those 5 are a small matter, right now the most important thing is to find out who has the last passcode.